We were told the game was over before we'd even started. We were told our bodies weren't made for it. It wasn't our time to play. We played anyway. And together we played like there was no tomorrow. And they told us that was fine. You can play. You're good enough. And thought that was good enough for us. It wasn't. We are relentless. The game isn't over until we say it's over. Until we get everything we've given everything for. Until we level the playing field.
Lidl, proud supporters of ladies Gaelic football.
Are relentless. The game isn't over until we say it's over. Until we get everything we've given everything for. Until we level the playing field.
Lidl, proud supporters of ladies Gaelic football.
You still haven't gone full Lidl. Go on, make big savings like this lot.
Pea nuggets.
Excuse me?
Who'd like them pea nuggets?
Once again?
Pea nuggets. They're vegan.
Nugget?
Yeah.
I like prawns, but how do you cook them?
Oh, there's loads of ways.
Can I microwave them?
No.
Join in and go full Lidl this year.
Did you get milk?
Shop without compromise and pay less.
We were told the game was over before we'd even started. We were told our bodies weren't made for it. It wasn't our time to play. We played anyway. And together we played like there was no tomorrow. And they told us that was fine. You can play. You're good enough. And thought that was good enough for us. It wasn't. We are relentless. The game isn't over until we say it's over. Until we get everything we've given everything for. Until we level the playing field.
Right, welcome along here to Monaghan for the Division 2 Lidl Ladies National Football League encounter between Monaghan, the home side, and Tipperary, who are on the road for the first time this year. They've had their first 4 games at home, so they've had to get on a bus today and make their way up here to Monaghan, and indeed this is their only away game of the National League this year, so they'll be glad to maybe get on the road and stretch their legs again from their home pitches. But they've had a good record so far, 3 wins from 4. Their only slip up coming last week with a narrow 1-point defeat at the hands of Laois. So Tipperary very much in the hunt for a top 2 position. It's really a 3-way battle, you would feel, between Armagh, Tipperary and Laois. Well, though, Westmeath will have a say in there as well, and Cavan, if they can pick up points this afternoon. But at the other end, Monaghan are looking over their shoulders because they have only had the 1 win under their belt, so they're looking maybe to try and avoid relegation and avoid that slip into Division 3. Well, joining me on commentary will be the legend herself from Monaghan, Niamh Kinlan. And Niamh, I suppose it's a difficult one for Monaghan where they are at the moment, and it's being a player there yourself, you don't want to see them. And down in that division, the slip from Division 1 back in 2019, it was a defeat down in Semple Stadium that saw them slip down, a 1-point defeat at the hands of Tipperary that saw them slip down. But sometimes when you slip down, it's hard to stop that slide, so it's important for Monaghan to consolidate and stay in Division 2.
Absolutely, Alan, and that is the key thing. Obviously got relegated in the championship last year too, and the first time in 30 years since Monaghan have been not in senior football, so that's a change already, and you really don't want to get into that mindset then that you're starting to slip, and as you said, you said at the start in the opening there about Monaghan looking over their shoulder, and you really don't want that situation. So they did pick up that win after a poor start against Laois in the first game. That win against Tyrone was very important. Obviously Armagh have been getting the win over Monaghan over the last number of years, and then like against Cavan last week was a better performance, and maybe could have pipped it at the post in the end, or maybe got a draw out of it, unfortunately didn't. So they really need a performance first and foremost, but a win would be brilliant today.
We get more from you in a minute, Niamh, because I'm going to run through the two teams, beginning with the home side Monaghan, and Cairns has made a number of changes from the side that was listed on Friday evening to play this afternoon. So they have made 4 changes. As I said, in comes the number 19, Aoife Burns. In is also Laura Walsh, Rosemary Courtney and Lauren Garland into the side that was listed to start this afternoon. And the full Monaghan team is Alana O'Donoghue between the posts. Full back line, Maeve Monaghan, Jennifer Duffy and Shona Brady. The half back line of Amy Hamill, and then Aoife Burns replacing Kiva Brennan, and Anya Lockman at number 7. The midfield pairing then is Lauren Garland replacing Jodie McQuillan, and Murrin Atkinson, the team captain from O'Neill Shamrocks, wearing number 9. The half forward line of Amy Garland, and in at centre half forward comes Laura Walsh from Killarney in place of Leanne Maguire, and then at 22 we have coming in is Rosemary Courtney, and the full forward line Emma Clerkin, Chloe McBride and Shauna Coyle. Tipperary have also made 2 changes. Out go the injured midfielder, the number 8, Anna Rose Kennedy, and also a replacement at the wing half forward position, number 10, Anya Delaney is also replaced in there, and coming in for her is Maria Creedon, while Nora Martin comes in at the centre of the park. So the side, the Tipperary, under the team management of Peter Creedon, is Lauren Fitzpatrick in between the posts from Ballymacarbery, and the full back line, Cleona O'Dwyer, Marie Corley, the team captain at number 3, and Emma Cronin. Half back line, Sarah English, Lucy Spillane and Nessa Toey. And the midfield pairing then is a number 20, as I said, coming in is Nora Martin, and she will partner Niamh Martin at number 9. The half forward line then is the change Maria Creedon from Thurles Sarsfields, comes in at the number 10 position wearing number 28, Eva Fennessy, Aisling Maloney, and the full forward line, Clara English, Emma Morrissey and Angela McGuigan. Just going to turn our attention to Tipperary. Victory this afternoon, I suppose, to bounce back from the Laois. They're going to be very much in the hunt for promotion. You mentioned Armagh. Tipperary will also be looking for a return to Division 1, but personally I feel Armagh, if they don't make it this year, it's going to be another backward step for them, because they've been knocking on the door but they've never got through that door, and surely this year Armagh nearly have to get out of Division 2.
Absolutely, Alan. They have really been, obviously they've been a top 6 team in the senior championship for the last number of years, and playing Division 2 football doesn't suit them at all. And it's no disrespect to Division 2 football, but they need to be playing against the top teams week in, week out. Obviously we're back to the 7 games in the league, which has been brilliant over 2 years out of that now, so that's great. So it's getting more games, and it's a benefit to teams getting more games, as I said, and more games on the road, and playing the best teams available to them. So yeah, Armagh, obviously you would have been putting your money on them last year in the league final against Kerry, and Kerry have showed their worth now in Division 1. So I know we're talking at Division 2 football here today, Alan, but it proves its worth in any team. Teams have come up from Division 2 have shown that they're really able to withstand the pressure up there at senior football. Obviously Tipperary, the return of Aisling Maloney from injury, missed all of last year, back flying again this year, so that has to be a huge boost for the Tip Girls. Absolutely, and the quality of the player that Aisling Maloney has been over the last number of years, and she's had 2 years out and had some very serious injuries in that time, but it's brilliant to see her back, and as I said, you want to see the best players playing for their county, and certainly she is one of the top players in Tipperary. Well, the scene is set. Siobhan Coyle from Donegal will be our match official as she calls the teams into their positions, and we see a change on Monaghan already. That number 3, Jennifer Duffy, has gone the centre of the park,
but she really has played centre of the park mainly in most of the games anyway, Niamh.
That's right, Alan. I mean, she's a an Neil Shamrock's player, and she's one of these players that probably is a more defensive-minded midfielder, but she's been played and well able to be up the field, and she played with DCU in the past too, and she's been out the field player, so yeah, she's well able to be at midfield.
So Siobhan Coyle getting ready to get underway, and looking at the way they've lined out, that Tipperary will have the aid of the wind, but it's kind of merely blowing into our faces possibly, so it could be a crossfield breeze, Niamh.
Yeah, absolutely. And you forgot to mention your intro, Alan, with the beautiful facilities here in Monaghan, my home ground, and obviously after it's 2018 since our pitch collapse, and this is our new facilities, so
I have to say
mention that again after.
Yeah, it is absolutely looking splendid, it must be said, and credit to the club to respond to that disaster, as you said, Niamh, 5 years ago. But they're coming back stronger than ever, and they do the beginning of rebuilding that at the moment, and this pitch out in front of us looking absolutely immaculate, it must be said. The sun shining, but as Niamh says, the sun always shines in Monaghan. They don't know what rain is, and the referee says that's over carrying. Thought it a little bit harsh, but Siobhan Coyle so, yeah. Much closer, and here come Tipperary with Emma Morrissey coming forward. She was the hero last year to keep Tipperary in senior ranks with that victory in Breffni Park against Cavan, and she's coming forward here now is Morrissey. Plays it back out, scored 2 goals last week against Tipperary, or against Laois, apologies, and Tipperary trying to build, and they'll be looking for a hefty advantage with this wind at their backs as they come forward, and Creedon under pressure over there, plays it back out, and they try to work their way with Towie, and they're going to spread it over here because they have a player over on this side, a couple of them unmarked, and I just see, it's interesting to see who's picking up Aisling Maloney. There seems to be a player that is just given that task alone. We will look at her. Sarah English in possession at the moment, and she cuts inside, lays it off. Maloney makes that run, and Maloney in possession now. She's been tracked there by Amy Hamill, who seems to be the girl that is going to be given, as Maloney lets that one in, and that's a super point from Aisling Maloney.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what we've been have seen from Aisling in the past, and that's a super score. And just even the way she looks like her right hamstring is quite heavily strapped as well, Alan, but it showed no deficit there to her, and she popped that over from about 40 yards out, so a super score.
And already 120 in the league campaign to her name, so she's extended that out now to 121. Here's Rosemary Courtney now driving forward for Monaghan. She lets the ball in, and it's a good one, looking for Garland in there. Lauren Garland it is, gives it back out again as Monaghan try to create something. Chloe McBride for the back out, Monaghan back out to Lauren Garland, and is that half blocked down, and it's going to nip in there, but the defender is the quickest. She loses her footing, but she manages to hold possession, and that's out here. And Tipperary working it out from the back, very confident in possession is Tipperary, but I suppose when you're on a good run as they are, they'll be looking to bounce back, of course, from the defeat last week. But 3 wins from 4, the ball into the corner, looked like a little nudge in the back. Referee says no, and she's got away with it there, has Emma Clerkin, and Clerkin plays it inside to the other Garland, which was, or Shauna Coyle, apologies, I was thinking of the other Garland, which is also on the park, the two of them for Monaghan. Amy, but Monaghan try to work their way up. Referee playing the advantage as Monaghan give it to Rosemary Courtney, coming off the shoulder then is Myrren Atkinson. There's a good ball in there to Lauren Garland, little nudge on the back. Monaghan playing some nice football though, Niamh.
Yeah, definitely, Alan, and I suppose it just when I can see when Tipperary a Tipperary attack, you can see how defensive Monaghan are. Like, look at Shauna Coyle and Emma Clerkham, 2 corner forwards. Well, on paper anyway, 2 corner forwards are right back in our own defence. And Monaghan seem to be keeping, I think it's Lauren, is it? I do mix the girls up.
Yeah,
Lauren up front. And, that was an early ball in, and she did really well to win, and a wee nudge in the back. So here's her first opportunity for Monaghan to equalise. Yeah,
chance for Chloe McBride, and she makes no mistake. And the sides are level with 3.5 minutes on the clock. And a big loss, Leanne Maguire from the local club here in Monaghan scored 1 goal and 8 points when these sides last met in 2019 down in Semple Stadium, in that game that saw Monaghan relegated from Division 1. Aisling Maloney that day hit 10 points, 9 on coming from frees, and she's encouraging her girl to come forward here, very close to the sideline is Maloney, but Maloney crowded out here, and the referee says over carrying. I thought she didn't do too bad, and I thought she bounced the ball and sold it in Niamh.
Yeah, it might be a little bit harsh, but you can see the intensity Monaghan playing with there, Alan, and that's really good to see. The 3 players got round and didn't foul her, and they forced the overcarry, whether it be questionable or not. She's still, by the referee's ruling, it's a free for Monaghan.
As you said, it was the intensity. 3 Monaghan players getting around Maloney. Of course, she will be marked, but she's well used to that. She will be the one girl with that target on her back when any team plays Tipperary. Maloney will be that one as Monaghan try to move it forward here, and that's good play from Monaghan. And unfortunately, Garland had the ball knocked away from her. Did Amy Garland, and now it's Maloney with those long strides coming forward as Amy Garland tries to get back at her, but Maloney's pulling away from her. She sidesteps the challenge, and Maloney's still going here. The player going off her, but it might be too much on it. But there's a chance here for Morrissey going through, but it's straight at the goalkeeper, but it's back again, and Monaghan clear the lines. But Morrissey, the goal poacher that Morrissey is, will be very disappointed not to put that one away, Niamh.
Yeah, definitely so, Alan. And you know, I just funny that the way that ball broke down. Ashley Maloney was totally on her own here. I don't know who's. I think it's Amy Hamill that's meant to be picking her up, and maybe she was getting involved in the attack going forward. But Ashley was totally left on her own here, and she created that goal chance there. And Alana O'Donoghue did well. I guess it was straight at her, but she did well. And at the end of the day, you still have to save those ones as well. So Alana did well, and Monaghan cleared the lines very well.
They did, and that ball in again, looking for Lauren Garland, and she waited behind and it worked out for her, but she's crowded out there, needs to get support, gets it back out, did very well indeed, and gets it out there. And Monaghan have got their noses in front, and the point over there from Laura Walsh from Killarney with the score. But Lauren Garland done very well because she did well to get the ball out, done well to win it the first time. I suppose it was a mistake from the defender, but still she done well to get it back out to Laura.
She did, and she, you know, that's again that bit of experience. Obviously Dunamine player, and I mean she's got loads of experience and all the cute little tricks of the day, so she did really well, just, you know, stuck in behind, and a super first score for Laura Walsh.
Monaghan clean up that long ball from Tipperary, and coming out of defence is Monaghan now with Emma Clerkin. Clerkin gets a good ball over to the far side, spotted the unmarked player over there, the girl that just got the point from Killarney, Laura Walsh, in possession, gives it back out as Monaghan. Jennifer Duffy, toe to hand, coming forward, lays it off there to Amy Garland, sidesteps the challenge there. This Garland lays it off now, and Monaghan try to push forward. Getting up there was Maeve Monaghan also, but it's coming there, but the Monaghan girl waited on it, but in there to help her out, and it's going to be a free in was Murren Atkinson. And Monaghan, they're showing intensity here, Niamh.
They really are, Alan, and I mean you can see both teams, I suppose, as you said, Monaghan's against the win in this first half, but Tipperary have 13 players behind the ball. They are getting, you know, they're quite defensive as well and getting a lot of bodies back, but you know, Monaghan's doing well, showing intensity, and Murren, you know, with her experience and strength there again, won that free. Now it's probably a little bit far out against this breeze, but commentators curse here maybe.
Trying to force it though, and couldn't get the direction, and that one goes out and wide, and you probably hear the wind in our microphones as it blows across here into our faces, and a little bit favouring Tipperary in this first half. They're going short with that kick out. It's a good one though to Niamh Martin, and now Tipperary try to drive forward yet again, but quick hands again from Tipperary, back to Martin, sidesteps one challenge, then the second one. Now there's a Tipperary girl free, and it's the corner forward there, which is Angela McGuigan. McGuigan got a goal against Laois the last day as well. Emma Morrissey lays it off to the far side, and Tipperary passing the ball through the hands, moving the ball well, moving it quick, back out to Martin again. Martin over the top, an opportunity here now for Tipperary to come forward, and they might be in behind here, an opportunity for maybe a goal, but it's swung on to the right foot, and it's a good point from Angela McGuigan, who was involved in the early build-up and was on the hand, but that was quick hands from Tipperary. They're very good at moving into space and moving all the time, Niamh.
Yeah, they seem to always have an option, Alan, when they're going forward like that. There's always someone off the shoulder or some options somewhere, like, you know, and their patience there, you know, proved dividend as well, because, you know, Monaghan in fairness closed them down quite well, but they still got the ball to somebody who could get a score, so it was a good score, and that equalises the game now. And
they've put the high press on here, but Monaghan have worked it out very well. Amy Hammond lays it off, and Monaghan trying to push their way forward, and they have options inside. Jennifer Duffy was one of those, just got the ball knocked away from her. The referee says to play on with the advantage, and Maeve Monaghan does exactly that, and in behind is Rosemary Courtney, and she flicks it over the head of the Tipperary girl to Courtney, lays it off now to Chloe McBride, back to Courtney again. This is good movement from Monaghan. Have they got the finish quality though? But they've been pushed back out here by Tipperary, and they're right over on the far side now, and Amy Garland inside now to her clubmate Rosemary Courtney, was making that run, dashes in between two. The referee plays the advantage. She'll go back for the free. There's going to be a free in to Monaghan. And that was good play from Monaghan too. I thought the opportunity was gone when they spread it over to the far side, but they managed to work away again. And Rosemary Courtney very much involved in the early stages of this one.
Yes, Alan, and I mean, you said it there that, you know, you would have felt, but, you know, it's good moving by Monaghan. They sort of went the attack up on the right hand side. You know, they moved it across and they got the score over on the far side. And again, you know, Rosemary showing all her experience again and pulling that free. And, you know, good refereeing by Siobhan Coyle. They had run on and maybe could something come out of it. So, you know, it's an opportunity now for Lauren that's taken that, is it?
It is indeed. Lauren Garland, and she pops that one over the bar. Monaghan get their noses back in front again. Almost 10 minutes gone. It's been a lively opening so far. 3 points to 2 in favour of Monaghan. Some very good passages of play from both sides, and Lauren Fitzpatrick saved a penalty. The last day Monaghan and Tipperary met back in that game in 2019. Indeed, Monaghan were given 3 penalties on that occasion. They only scored the one of them, coming from Leanne Maguire towards the end. As I said, Fitzpatrick saved one from Maguire. Then Murren Atkinson saw one rattle off the post before Maguire slotted home the 3rd penalty. So I'm not sure if we'll have any penalties this afternoon, Dave, but
never know now when these teams meet. It seems to be a common occurrence, all right.
And here comes Emma Morrissey. Sidesteps the challenge there, does Morrissey, and a good long fist pass inside. And an opportunity here now for the centre half forward, which is Ava Fennessy. But Monaghan get the bodies back there, back out again. And there's now out to Maloney. That's the girl they're looking for. Onto that boot again as Maloney. She watches this one. The umpire goes for the flag. Another super point from Maloney. No matter how close you get to her, she does well and gets the effort away and over the bar.
Yeah, and like, it's just, you can see she just gets her position in the right place, Alan. She knows, you know, where her strength is, getting the ball on that right side, you know, swinging around the right, and she just does that loop round. And no matter how close Amy Hamill, in fairness, Amy Hamill was right up beside her. You know, once she gets, you know, an inch of room, she seems to be able to kick it over and swing it over. That was another super score from her.
That is the quality that Maloney brings to the game. Alana Donoghue looks for a runner, a bit of movement. At the moment, there's just none of it. Yeah, I was just thinking the same. The referee could be blowing there as Amy Garland tries to get in there, but Emma Morrissey was waiting for the flick down and she gathered possession. Gives a lovely pass inside now to Niamh Martin, the midfielder. Martin takes a run at the Monaghan defence. Could be blue for overcarrying. I think we will agree with that one. Just a step too many from Niamh Martin as she tried to jinx her way through. But Siobhan Coyle, consistency, it must be said. She's been on the toe for these overcarrying so far.
Yeah, she has, and I mean, she you know, Niamh did really well there. She jinxed in and out as well, as you said, but she just took a step too far. And this is just the downside of the pitch here in Monaghan. I think maybe the stop nets are not just high enough maybe for some of them shots, because I think there's 2 balls going out there now that'll need to be fetched after the game.
But I'm sure somebody will get them as the game goes on.
2 extra balls from Monaghan ladies.
As here comes Monaghan. Coming out of the fence is Jennifer Duffy and playing in midfield. Lets a long ball in for Garland, but there's 3 against 1 there, so there was little chance for her. And I suppose if you're playing a high ball in, it's not the perfect one for Lauren Garland. You need to be playing it into space for her to run on to. Here's Maloney, cuts in beside, tried to cut in between 2 players, was fouled. But Maloney quickly spots a player unmarked over on the far side as they come forward yet again. Niamh Martin very much involved for Tipperary. Play a little dinky pass in there, but the Monaghan girl got out in front as Murren Atkinson just toe pokes it back there. And coming out of the fence is Maeve Monaghan. Strong run here from Monaghan, going forward, looking ahead, looking for movement. Plays a simple ball beside her to Laura Walsh. Referee playing the advantage. Laura Walsh being pushed away out to the far side, gives it back to Monaghan again, but the referee says no advantage, so she's going back for the free. But I'm impressed by Monaghan. When they get the ball, they're not afraid to run with it. Maeve Monaghan, in prime example there, when the space was in front of her, she used it.
Yeah, definitely, Alan, but probably the downside of it was that, you know, there was no option. There was about 6 Tipperary players in front of her, and the only player up front was Lauren Garland. So I think in those situations Monaghan need to get pushed up beside them and get more support in beside the player that's running out of defence.
It's none of those balls that Lauren Garland's going to struggle to win the higher ball in.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it worked in that she won a free earlier on, but like, she's kind of looking for that little one that's going to bounce over the head, and that's not going to happen. And I'm sure already that full back line of Tipperary have been made aware of that, you know, that's what Monaghan seems to be doing, so they'll be even much more tighter on that now.
Here's Morrissey having a crack here, but the referee was playing the advantage, so it was really a shot for nothing from Morrissey, and she knew it when she let it go, so the referee going back for the free just inside the 45 metre line. And a chance for Tipperary, and I'm sure it's going to be Aisling Maloney that's going over there, although it'll not suit the right foot of Maloney, but she's well used to this As I said, the last time the sides met, she scored 9 frees out of her 10 points down in Semple Stadium in that game in 2019 in the league. That saw Monaghan's last time in Division 1. Maloney not going to take it. She takes it short. She'll be looking for the return. Makes that dash of speed from Maloney, but Amy Hamill sticking to her as she goes to ground referee, playing the advantage, which none accord again. So a little bit closer. She might have a go with this one, Niamh.
Yeah, well, funny, I thought that free was a little bit harsh, to be honest. I thought she just seemed like she slipped. I didn't think it really Amy Hamill fouled her there in that situation. But yeah, it's a similar pot, a couple of yards in from her last one. And she still has the option to go short there because she's got 2 players behind her, but she might be going to try it.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to have a go with this one. And she drops it in. It's a dangerous one, but it drops over the bar. It didn't matter if it didn't suit the right foot. Maloney with her 4th point, or 3rd point, apologies. The first from a free, and it puts Tipperary in front with almost midway through the opening half. And Donoghue plays this one short. Jennifer Duffy just about gets there ahead of the Tipperary girl. But Duffy in possession, flicks it over then. And a chance here now for Aoife Burns, Nora of the Dunamwine side. Now to Murren Atkinson, one of the, it's hard to say, but hard to believe that Murren Atkinson is probably one of the more experienced Monaghan players, and she's still very young.
That's it, exactly, Alan. We were just talking about that this morning, that, you know, that she was one that was probably just starting when I was retiring, and I was just thinking, because someone was asking me, so was any of the current team still playing when I was playing, and Murren is the only one of that. I said, God, that seems a bit harsh there, and Rosemary Courtney too.
Yeah, there's a couple of the ones for over-carrying, but one Coyle, I suppose she's consistent with this over-carrying, but there is a couple of them. It's just, you would say, very much on the borderline, Niamh.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, she just seems to be, she's really on the ball with it now, and she's keeping,
this is an interesting one. We have seen it in a lot of games, Niamh.
Yeah, it seems to be now. It's getting a lot of traction as well, Alan. Yeah. A lot of people complaining about it, and it's something maybe the LGFA have to look at. But yeah, that's another example of these once you stand up in front of them, players know where else to go. It's looking like teams are training defenders to do that. Absolutely, and you know it seems exactly that, and that if they're willing to take the hit, and you know they feel confident enough to get the hit straight on or full on, that is it, and they'll get a free all day if that happens. Like so. It's a hard one. It needs to be something, you know. I think it's sort of, it's taken away from the tackling skill, the skill of the tackle. It's a bit of a cop out. But it's a grey area because it is a difficult one to call. Is she charging, or did the girl just completely stand there to stop her? I think, and I mean the incident got a lot of traction over. I think that was Niamh O'Sullivan from Meath in that game. Can't just think who they were playing. Was it Kerry? Mayo was right. Yes, yeah, last weekend. And you know, it's the one where she was, you know, the player just turned. She just won the ball and she turned. And I mean, there's no, you're concentrating on winning the ball. You're not thinking of who's behind you. So I think that's hard. I think if you're coming from distance and you're not moving your feet to try and get around the player, that is, I would call that charging. Yeah. But when you don't have any time, it's a difficult one. Yeah, and as you said, it's a grey area. And if the defender just stands, sure, they're going to get the free all day, and it just is a bit of a harsh one. Like. Well, most definitely, if the attacker turns the shoulder into the defender, it's definitely counted as a charge. But Monaghan just seemed to be lacking where there was good movement and good play in the opening stages. They've given a couple of balls into the forwards where really it hasn't been. But Jennifer Duffy didn't wait on that one, and Duffy driving forward here for Monaghan, but she's no help. She's going to have to go herself, and she's doing exactly that. Gets the effort away. Took a deflection. Good defending. She stuck with her, but she had absolutely no help, but she done well to win it first time. She did brilliantly, Alan, and I mean she just showed such determination to win that ball. The Tipperary girl was waiting for it to come, and she really won it very well. But she had four Tipperary's players ahead of her, and no Monaghan player came up the back of her, so her only option was to try for the shot, and she's got a 45. She got something out of it, but you know, you're right, Alan. I think the last pass now from Monaghan at the moment, or maybe it's Tipperary, have just tightened up on that. We don't seem to be getting the return for the attacks, the amount of possession we have going forward at the moment. So Murren Atkinson with this 45 from Monaghan. Tipperary leading by 4 points to 3. 18 minutes gone here in the opening half, and Murren Atkinson. It was Rosemary Courtney, back to Atkinson, back to Courtney again. Courtney a little bit of space here, but that's going to be quickly crowded out. Has to get it back now to Laura Walsh. Laura Walsh toe to hand, needs to get support, gets it from Maeve Monaghan, sidesteps one challenge to Monaghan, but she needs to get help, and it's just not there at the moment. Back to Rosemary Courtney though. Monaghan hold possession and keep it. Jennifer Duffy spreads it away over to the far side. A little bit of space now for Monaghan to come forward here, and a chance maybe for Amy Garland. Garland tries to get it on to the right foot. That would be a super point. It is a super point from the Dunamwine girl, and the sides are level. Yeah, that was brilliant. Was Amy, was it?
Amy, yeah.
Yeah, great score, Alan. I mean, and I would be, you sort of, I was thinking when she went to shoot that, God, she's too far out, it's going to drop short, but it was a super score. She put all her effort right behind the kick, and that's what Monaghan need to do in kicking into those goals at the moment.
I think it was Amy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it was Amy and not Lauren.
No, I think it was
Apologies if I was wrong.
No, I think you're right. No, it was Amy. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
They're so alike, of course. But here come Tipperary trying to restore the advantage. Maloney, I think, was looking for a free there. Stops again and could be blue for over carrying here because she stops a lot, but then gets away with it and keeps coming forward here, but coming back at her, and the challenge goes in. And I think Ashley Maloney, she looked like she was looking for a free there, but the referee was having none of it, and Rosemary Courtney comes forward, flicks it over the head there now to Lauren Garland. Quick offload from Garland now to Courtney again. Donamoyne girls combining here, coming off the shoulder though, a chance maybe for Aoife Burns, the other of the Donamoyne girls. Back now to Jennifer Duffy, but she's been pushed away back as Tipperary get the bodies back into defence now. Here's Murren Atkinson, sides level, 4 points apiece in this crucial Division 2 Little Ladies National Football League game. At either side of the table, Tipperary, if they win, will still be very much in the hunt for a place in the final, while Monaghan will be looking for 3 valuable points to keep their hopes of staying in Division 2 as they come forward here and a chance to take the lead. But Laura Walsh's effort is up high in the sky and is well collected there by Lauren Fitzpatrick, but missed opportunity for Monaghan, Neve.
Yeah, another opportunity, another chance getting into the 45-metre line and not getting scores out of it, Alan. I just think again it's back to the support player. That, when a player goes forward, we're not just getting Monaghan's not just getting the support up beside her, and I mean it's leaving it slowed it down then and it gave Tipperary time to get players back, and that was a hopeful shot there from Laura Walsh. It's
not just on the scoreboard, very little between them, but even on the play, there's very little between them as they come forward there again. Referee lets that one go, and here come Tipperary, a chance now to come forward, and there might be Niamh Martin trying to go around the long way, but Martin's running out of space and she gets the effort away, and the umpire nods at the other. It's a good score because I thought she was running out of space, but Niamh Martin pops over a point and Tipperary are back in front.
Yeah, Niamh Martin's been really good, Alan, in this first, what are we in, 20 minutes or 25 minutes or so, 20 minutes, running from deep. There's a couple of times there her support run and off the shoulder run has been really, really strong, and that's the first point she scored, but stuff has come off that now, and needs to be really watched.
Murren Atkinson made herself available for the short kick out and gathered possession, and Monaghan working the way out of defence now, but Tipperary putting on that press, and it's a dangerous game from Monaghan, but they've managed to hold possession. That's a good ball out of defence from Jennifer Duffy, and Monaghan do hold possession. There's a bit of space now for Aoife Burns. Aoife Burns though turns and runs straight into Ashley Maloney, goes down under the challenge. Referee says to play on, and Monaghan do exactly that. Over to the far side, and in possession now is Shauna Coyle. The Latin girl flicks it into space, inviting the run there of Anya Lockman, and Lockman does exactly that, gathers possession and takes the advantage of the Tipperary girl slipping now to Chloe McBride. McBride looks ahead of herself, and that's a better ball into Lauren Garland. Garland gathers possession, and that's the kind of ball that Garland wants. She was hit late there, was Garland, and the referee says to play on, but I don't think she spotted it because she was hit late, Niamh.
Yeah, I think actually the referee followed the flight of the ball and maybe didn't see what happened. She definitely was hit late, but that was better from Monaghan, and I mean, given it was a better ball into Lauren from Chloe McBride there. It was more easier and to her advantage, kicking it into her.
So Tipperary come forward again, directly down here in front of us. In possession is Clara English back. And now to the other corner forward in there, which is Angela McGuigan, but she's playing very deep, but numbers mean absolutely nothing in today's game, be it men's or be it in ladies football. And over here now is Sarah English in possession just outside the Monaghan 45-metre line. Murren Atkinson sticks with her, but she gets the ball back, and Tipperary holding possession. Patient build up from the girls from Tipperary. As I said, their first trip on the road this year, and that's intercepted. Chance now for Monaghan. Chloe McBride coming forward. She's got Jennifer Duffy with her, and she flicks it soccer style to Duffy. Back again, but Chloe McBride wasn't expecting that one. She's going to race for possession here. Just gets ahead of the Tipperary girl, but it was kind of the two of them. But Monaghan messed that one up, and it was the flick. I don't think Chloe McBride was expecting Jennifer Duffy to give it back to her.
No, and this is back to the support again, Alan. I mean, Chloe needed to go on for that support. She needed it. Her legs looked like they were gone, to be honest. She didn't have the legs to support the play. And I mean, it was 4v3. It was definitely a score opportunity for Monaghan there, but it needed more players up, and it needed more support, and Chloe needed to expect to get that back again. So it's worked out. I think there's two Monaghan players on the ground. Yeah.
Both of them were involved there, Jennifer Duffy and Chloe McBride, both of them down receiving treatment. As you said, it looked like
the full
Chloe had completely run out of puff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marie Curley's on the ground there too. I think her and Jennifer Duffy just clashed there in that last as the ball broke away. But yeah, it needed that support, and she did look like Chloe just looked like her legs were gone and she wasn't fit to continue with the support, and that's where I just think Monaghan's fallen down. I think they're doing so much work defensively that they're to try and get back up the field, and maybe against that wind as well. That they seem to be struggling with it at the moment.
I'm sure they're pretty happy with that wind if it is favouring Tipperary, which I think, looking at the flags, Niamh, it is, if anything, favouring them. It is maybe blowing into a corner, but it is still favouring Tip in the first half. So 5 points to 4 down. Look at the watch, 6 minutes remaining of the opening half. So I'm sure Kieran's and the management, they'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, they do. They definitely seem to be. And I see that Moore Fernie here, Hugh Donnelly, like in front of us, and he's definitely happy. I know there's a few things he hasn't been happy with, maybe at that last attack, or maybe people taking shots, sort of on sight, and maybe holding on to the ball a little bit longer. They're looking for, but definitely happy with this play so far.
So play will resume with Tipperary in possession of the ball. Thankfully, both Monaghan girls back and fit to continue. And in possession is the team captain now, Maria Curley. I know there's a few of the Tipperary supporters have made their way up there, but I'm sure a lot of them probably haven't made the journey up this afternoon and are tuned their way. And watching the Tip girls looking to bounce back from that defeat last week, a game they felt they left behind them and should have got something out of against Leishan. Ashley Maloney under a lot of pressure, deflected off a Monaghan hand and out over the far sideline. So a sideline ball to Tipperary. And this nice little number of spectators have made their way in here.
Yeah, there definitely is. I suppose it's hard to judge exactly, Alan, because obviously everyone stands around the circumference of the field. But yeah, it's a nice crowd of definitely Monaghan people here for sure.
At the ball in from Maloney, it's a very dangerous one, but there's too much on that one, and it's out and wide. And Tipperary's first wide of the game. We haven't had too many wides. We're inside the last 5 minutes of the opening half. 5 points to 4 in favour of Tipperary. 3 of those coming from the boot of Ashley Maloney, 2 from play, 1 from a free. So she is the top scorer in the opening half so far. As Donoghue, the Monaghan custodian, gets ready, and the referee saying that there's going to have to be a change. Maloney, obviously a blood temporary substitution, so she makes her way off. So I'm not sure if there's a player ready to come on, not as of yet. So Siobhan Coyle might just let play continue. No, she's
waiting for someone to come on.
Yeah,
it seems to be just on her knee, I think, on her left knee. Actually, she must have maybe fallen or something, and it's cut.
She'll have both legs strapped up. But Tipperary now do introduce the number 24. So the number 24 is Rosanna Keeley from the same club as Aisling Kerr. So the ball out, and it's well gathered there by Shona Brady. And Shona Brady is fouled. She was under a lot of pressure, but she done well to win possession. And now with Murren Atkinson to Jennifer Duffy. Duffy has got Atkinson with her, and she uses her. And Atkinson's now going to spread it away over to the far side. And Anya Lockman, and she spreads it further over now to Aoife Burns. Aoife Burns in possession. Now to Rosemary Courtney, and lays it off, and Monaghan have give possession away here, have they? No. Maeve Monaghan just gets there. Emma Morrissey tried to intercept it but didn't succeed, and nothing's over here now to Amy Garland. Garland in possession, sidesteps the challenge, tries to go between two. The referee plays the advantage, no advantage to Corin. And Amy Garland, small in stature, but a really little customer to try and mark, Niamh.
Definitely so, and tigerish, I would use another word for her too. Very tigerish, her and Lauren both. They won't. If a ball gets away from them, they won't. They'll let you know. Let you know about it. That's for sure.
And really, the best ball to play into them is the low ball. And to be honest, looking at both of them, they'll win 90% of those low balls in.
They will definitely, and they're really good at winning that low, that low centre of gravity, I suppose. And if they get in the possession too, they get fouled very easy, and they have that cuteness as well about them, where they really make it seem like they're being killed nearly, and then for to win a free. So yeah, very, very good. Two very good girls.
So McBride to level it up here, and she does exactly that, does Chloe McBride, from the free following a foul on Murren Atkinson. So Chloe McBride's second converted free of the day. And I suppose when I'm thinking of the low gravity, I'm thinking of the McInnesby's, Ciara and Aoife. They had that same style of play.
Yeah, absolutely, Alan, and they were brilliant at that too. And Probably, I would have always said about them, probably too honest. You know, they'd be killed and actually get up again and their leg half hanging off. That's probably what they're, you know what I mean? Too honest that they were, where the Garlands definitely know how to, you know, they have the cuteness, they'll get the free and then they'll stay down.
So it's out for a 45 over in the far corner for Tipperary. Quick look at the watch. We're inside the last 70 seconds or so of normal time at the end of this opening half as Aisling Maloney resumes after that temporary change with obviously a cut to her knee. So she's back on the field and she will replace the player that went on, which was Rosanna Keeley, her clubmate from Kerr. So it's going to be straight into the action again for Maloney because she's going to take this 45 as they say that. Emma Morrissey comes out to take it and looked like she was going to...
It seems to be all the go now, Alan, these 45s, these little tricks of going, you know, pretend you're going to take it and then give it back to someone else.
And it was interesting, the two Monaghan girls ran straight past it. They both went to Maloney.
They knew there was something going on, alright.
So Tipperary in possession, trying to retake the lead here before half time. Be the least they'll be hoping for with that wind at their backs in the first half as they come forward, and that's another one. And this one's a free out yet again. We'll not go down that line again, Niamh.
No. Jennifer Duffy could be really injured now in this situation, Alan. Yeah,
she seemed to take a strong knock there to Jennifer. So it will be a free out to Monaghan.
That's also the fear with these kind of situations, Alan, too, that some player could, you know, dislocate the shoulder, break the collarbone, you know, or something more serious than that. So that is the fear, like in these hits, that someone could get seriously injured from it. Hopefully Jennifer's okay. Second time in the game that she has been down, and they were working on her arm the last time she was down, so hopefully it's nothing. She's sitting up again now, that's always a good sign. So she's back on her feet, and she has that arm kind of strapped as well, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. But Monaghan get on with it, and Jennifer Duffy back on her feet. Now it's with Mirren, and I think Mirren was about to pass there, and the referee's going to move this one forward, and Eve Martin makes the run forward just outside the 45, and she spreads it into the centre of the field. Tipperary maybe going to try and get their noses in front here, and a chance for Clara English back out here now to the other corner forward, which is Angela McGuigan, and now coming forward is Martin again, back inside to English looked to overcarry, and the referee says yes she did. I think that's about 6 or 7 overcarries in the first half, Alan, and that's with one nearly in the space of two in the space of a minute there, and those two were probably the most obvious is right, and you could see Murren right in front of us here with that one in particular. She was undecided and sort of in two minds, I think, going to give it, and then she ended up getting caught. So with a minute of additional time already played, I'd expect another at least 3 or 4 minutes possibly, because we had a lot of stoppages in that first half. Murren Atkinson in possession, 5 points apiece here in this Little Ladies National Football League, brought to you with thanks to Mac AV and the LGFA. Damien on camera this afternoon, bringing you the pictures live from the fantastic facilities here in Monaghan. That saves me another box on the shoulder maybe from Dave if I keep saying how good it is here. Another plug, Alan, well done. As Monaghan look to maybe get their noses in front before the break. Jennifer Duffy had a very good opening 30 minutes so far, has the O'Neill Shamrock scare, lays it out here. Murren Atkinson had the arm pulled, referee obviously didn't spot it. Atkinson trying to keep it in play, can't do so. I think she had her arm pulled back. She definitely did, Alan, and that was very harsh down on the ball. That's nearly why the ball ended up going out over the line, because so 2 minutes of additional time we had. It's half time, level pegging, 5 points apiece. Both teams, probably Monaghan will be the happier with that wind. I think that the wind has been hasn't, like, I suppose the other side of it is it hasn't been a major factor in Tipperary's 5 points either. Like, I think I'm kind of surprised they didn't use it a bit more, and especially the likes of Aisling Maloney. She scored 2 points from distance, and then she kind of didn't try it or didn't do any pop shots, where Monaghan probably against the wind had more pop shots or more attempts on goal, even though, you know, some of them dropped short. But very definitely much happier in team in that after that 30 minutes. Some good passages of play from both sides. We talked in the early moments, I suppose, Lauren Gartland was having a lot of possession inside. Monaghan began to play probably the wrong ball into her, the high ball. It didn't work out. They need to play the lower ball in and into space for her to run onto. Yeah, that's what was working in the early parts. Now, probably equally, I think Tipperary sort of copped onto that too, and they sort of played maybe an extra player in there, or maybe they weren't as they were sort of copping onto a little bit better and looking for, cutting out that or cancelling out that opportunity for them. But they also, Monaghan's, I suppose the big thing we probably both noticed and spoke in commentary is that when Monaghan got forward and they broke our defence really, really well, they just need more bodies. And that's, that's where they seem to be lacking a little bit in the their, not saying their fitness, but just the legs to try and back that up when they go forward.
I suppose that is difficult because you're getting the bodies back to cut out Tipperary, and it's a fitness thing that you can turn defence into attack so quick.
Yeah, it is, and this is the big pitch as well, Alan. And I mean, it is hard. It's hard to try and get up and down, and those players do so much work, and they go, going back and tracking, and then it's just very hard to try and back that up. But I suppose it's the key thing of that happy medium where they're get players back and get defence, but try and keep a few that's sort of around the middle of the field to be an option of an outlet for to get us up and get Monaghan up the field further.
Thank you very much indeed, Niamh. More from Niamh in the second half. We're going to take a short break. We're going to enjoy the up and coming stars of Monaghan by the looks of it here, Niamh, at half time. But half time here from Monaghan in the Lidl Ladies National Football League Division 2. It's Monaghan 5 points, Tipperary 5 points.
We were told the game was over before we'd even started. We were told our bodies weren't made for it. It wasn't our time to play. We played anyway. And together we played like there was no tomorrow. And they told us that was fine. You can play. You're good enough. And thought that was good enough for us. It wasn't. We are relentless. The game isn't over until we say it's over. Until we get everything we've given everything for. Until we level the playing field.
Lidl, proud supporters of ladies Gaelic football.
You're welcome back for the second half of the Little Ladies National Football League Division 2 clash. Monaghan 5 points, Tipperary 5 points. Tipperary on the field, Monaghan taking their field down to our left hand side. Led out there by Murren Atkinson. The team captain from O'Neill Shamrocks leads them out, and at half time we saw the other midfielder that didn't start, Jodie McQuillan, going through the paces, so we could well see the Castleblaney girl for the second half, Niamh.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that, Alan. She was going through a strenuous sort of warm up there, and I see her taking the field now, so I suppose we just need to figure out what's the change.
And we also saw that Aisling Maloney has now got both knees strapped up.
Yeah, she's turned into a bit of a mummy here, Alan. Yeah, she's strapped up, and our partner at midfield too, Maria Creedon, is strapped up as well in her knees, so we just need to figure out who's to change, but Jodie McQuillan looks like she's coming on all right.
Yes, Jodie hands the slip of paper to Siobhan Coyle, the referee from Doonanall. So interesting.
Jennifer Duffy, I think.
Is it Jennifer? Well, she did take a couple of heavy challenges and knocks in the first half. She was down a couple of times, so possibly.
Yeah, I think it is. It's the only one I see missing.
And had a very good opening 30 minutes to Jennifer Duffy, but Jodie McQuillan is a fine footballer as well as the second half gets underway. But it's Aisling Maloney playing in the centre of the field that is fouled. As she won possession and is pleading maybe more than should be taken than just the free. I'm sure it's something that Aisling Maloney is well used to, is very close contact and special treatment from the opposition. I'm sure when you have that quality player, Niamh, you are going to have to get used to special quality or special treatment from the opposition.
She certainly does, and she's well used to it, as you said, Alan. And I mean, when she gets on the ball, there's two, other apart from the person that's marking her, two or three other players join up with her too.
So Tipperary trying to get their noses in front, but Monaghan with plenty of bodies back there, and looked like a tug on the Tipperary girls' jersey over there, but the referee says no and play on because Tipperary have possession as they try to work their way. Maria Creedon in possession, plays it across here, chance now for McGuigan lays it off to Creedon again. Creedon tries to find her way through, she does get her way through, fists it over the bar, and Creedon with the point, and Tipperary with the first score of the second half to open up a 1 point advantage. So it'll be interesting now to see what way Monaghan play with this wind at their backs in the second half, Niamh.
Yes, Alan, that is going to be it. It looks like Alana's going to go route one and go along with the kickouts, but Monaghan needs to be aware of that ball dropping over, sort of dropping into midfield and the half forward line, and Monaghan need to set up, if that's going to be the plan to go along with this breeze. They need to set up to that accordingly. But
Tipperary with all the ball in the second half so far, not coming forward yet again, but Monaghan putting the challenges in there, but illegally so, says the referee. A foul on Niamh Martin, the midfielder. It was probably the eye catcher in the opening half was Martin, and a chance here for Maloney, but she's not going to have a go. She's looking to take it short and does so to the full forward Emma Morrissey. Right over in the corner is Tipperary, and back to Maloney again. Maloney, though, his way is blocked, but that's really a shot for nothing from Maloney, and it's going out. It's still in play actually, and it is kept in play. And Monaghan have possession as they try to work their way forward, but the referee says it's going to be a free.
Yeah, I think Shauna Coyle was kicked, not kicked, after she kicked the ball she was fouled. But that's the thing that just funny. We spoke earlier on, Alan, about. I'm just watching. Again, you said earlier numbers mean nothing. I just noticed that Shauna Coyle and Emma Clerkin, with 13 and 15 in the back, have actually lined out in that second half, both corner backs. I nearly had to realise that we were playing that way when I seen the two of them lying out there. But that's just goes to show numbers. They seem to be working out more like a squad number, and that really the number on your back means nothing, as you had said earlier.
Monaghan seem to be playing a two full forward line. Chloe McBride and Lauren Garland in there. As we look down, Tipperary have got the bodies back. They have an extra defender, clean kind of as a sweeper there, and that's a ball across the field. Not something you like to see, but did well was Shona Brady. Brady gallops possession, lays it off now to Burns, Aoife Burns, inside to Jodie McQuillan, who come on in the second half, and Monaghan moving the ball here quickly, but it's a disappointing pass cut out, and Tipperary have possession back yet again, but that one there's a wayward one as well, as Rosemary Courtney read it, and Rosemary Courtney gallops possession. It's been pulled back by McGuigan, Angela McGuigan, and it's a quick ball into her club mate there, and it breaks down. Lauren Garland was the one she was looking for, and it's now with Chloe McBride to Rosemary Courtney to Jodie McQuillan. McQuillan is fouled just inside the 45 metre line, and a chance for Monaghan to level it up, and could well see Jodie herself take this one. Had a splendid year last year in guiding Castleblaney to not just the county title but also the Ulster junior title. Up and coming club in Monaghan, and Jodie has a go with this one, tries to curl it in and curls it in absolutely beautifully, and the Castleblaney girl just on the field at the start of the second half has a point to her name.
Yeah, and that's what Jodie, you know, I mean, she's absolutely, her free taking is phenomenal, Alan, and as you mentioned with her club last year, and even with Monaghan seniors, I mean, she was only, you know, still only a very young girl, and very, you know, has played so much football for Monaghan, and her free taking has been brilliant, and that's such an important thing in a team, is a good free taker, and you certainly have that in Jodie.
Monaghan putting on a very high press there on the Tipperary kick out, but Tipperary managed to hold possession, 6 points apiece. Monaghan showing their intensity and when trying to put the pressure on Tipperary, but they managed to work their way out. Fitzpatrick spreads it away over to the far side to Creedon with the knee bandaged up. Creedon trying to go on. Aoife Burns spreads it out to the far side, and Tipperary have moved that ball very, very well indeed, and have found space after that high intensity press from Monaghan, and they've won themselves a free over there, and the girl that is fouled is Nessa Toy. Interesting to see there, Niamh. Monaghan really pressed up on that Tipperary kick out.
They did, and I think that foul there by, I think was Shona Brady maybe, that foul was important too, because I think it gave Monaghan an opportunity to get bodies back, because of that high press there were a lot of bodies going forward, so it was an important, and this is a turnover again for Monaghan, so they're really playing with a high intensity at the moment, this first couple of minutes of the second half.
It is indeed. Tipperary bench felt that maybe their forward was fouled, but Monaghan get on with it, and Myrna Atkinson in possession, but she ran into trouble there, but in there to help her out, and the Tipperary girl does very well, flicks it away on the ground out here now towards Clara English. Clara English gives it to McGuigan, offloads it now to Niamh Martin. Martin plays it off, and Tipperary moving the ball quickly here, coming from the centre half back as Lucy Spillane spreads it over to the far side, and in possession is Eva Fennessy. Fennessy being crowded out by 2-3 Monaghan players, but fouled by the Monaghan players. And really it's a free given away, because Monaghan had Fennessy well crowded out there, but it's a cheap free to give away, Niamh, because it was 4 against 1.
Yeah, and you know, it's in a scoring position now, Alan, where if it happened out the field, you know, to give away a cheap free to get bodies back would have been a better option, and now it's in a scoring position for Aisling Maloney. Although the wind is strong, she will have no trouble kicking that over, and
no,
she
doesn't, and Tipperary have their noses back in front again. Maloney with her fourth of the day.
And this first couple of minutes, Alan, in the second, like we're 6 minutes in, 7 minutes in, like it's very important, Monaghan, to get scores on the board, you know, and get. They're playing with intensity, but we have to see it on the scoreboard, and that's where we need to get the score, and that's been probably a problem up at Monaghan over the last couple of games this year. You know, not getting enough return on the scoreboard.
Tipperary have made a change. Rosanna Keeley, we've seen a glimpse of her in the first half as a blood substitution, but now she's on as a substitution here in the second half. Not sure who has gone off. That ball broke kindly there for Garland. Amy Garland it is. Amy dropped possession momentarily, but gives it back out here, and Monaghan holding possession. Chloe McBride coming very deep to gather possession for that one. Myrna Atkinson, little toe poke across now to Amy Garland. Garland going long, looking for her sister. Pinpoint pass in now to Lauren Garland. Garland racing in on goal. Might be a goal chance here for Garland, but needs to get support. No support there. Gets the effort away and levels it up here. Momentarily there was a goal chance, but Garland was quickly crowded out, but she done well to get a point, Niamh.
She did really well, Alan, and I mean, as you said, it was nearly ended up 2-1, but you know, I suppose that telepathy between twins, you know, a really good ball, like to the advantage of Lauren. We've seen balls in the first half that wasn't to her advantage, and she did really, really well, and you know, did really well to get a score out of that, Alan, because she, in fairness to Tipperary, they did get you know, 2 players back and closed her down pretty quick, but she did really well to get a score out of it, and that's level things up again.
Monaghan make a change. Holly McQuaid is in, and the player coming off, looks like it's the number 20, I think it is, which was Laura Walsh. Hit a point in that opening half, but she has been replaced now by Holly McQuaid, another up and coming player to keep an eye on for Monaghan. Tipperary coming out of defence, 7 points apiece. We have 8 minutes gone in this second half, still all to play for her here in Monaghan. It's been close throughout, very little between the sides, as this is a key game for both teams at either side of the table. And Tipperary in possession, trying to prize an opening in this, what has been a rock solid Monaghan defence so far. This is try and create that little opening to get through. They had a goal chance in the first half. Emma Morrissey had the chance, but she had shot went straight at Alana Donoghue in the Monaghan goal. In possession now is Fennessy again. Fennessy lays it back out here, and the effort is blocked down, but it breaks to Creedon. Creedon coming through, and Creedon, a long run from Creedon here, but Monaghan get the bodies in and have turned it over yet again of Monaghan. There's been a lot of turnovers from both sides. Racing out of defence now is Amy Garland. Jinks her way out of defence. Good run from Garland. Looks to get support. None there at the moment. Has to go long for her sister, but out in front is the Tipperary girl to gather possession there, which was Emma Cronin. But the two sisters, the twins, trying to link up yet again like they did a moment ago and looked like steps, and it is steps. And Amy Garland needs to receive treatment here. And Amy Garland and Lauren Garland, if there's anyone, I think it's those two are going to combine to open up the Tipperary defence.
Really weird, Alan, and that was super work by Amy Garland. I mean, she did really well to get super work in the Monaghan's defence to get the ball turned over. You know, she kicked with her left foot, tried to find Lauren, you know, I suppose give away possession, but like the intensity she worked, and the two of them worked there to get that ball turned over and to the advantage of Monaghan and make Tipperary overcarry. So really good work.
Maeve Monaghan was put under pressure there and touched the ball on the ground when she had her knees on the ground. And Monaghan giving possession away. That was a cheap possession to give away as they look for Maloney. Does very well to win it under pressure from Amy Hamill and fouled by Hamill. And Maloney trying to move it quickly here, and she's got an option out here, Clara English, if she used her, but she's not. She's going backwards and goes back to Maria Creedon. So Marie Creedon in possession, and the referee has spotted an off the ball there. Maloney on Amy Hamill. You spotted it, Niamh?
Yeah, Ashley Maloney could be in trouble here, Alan. I was actually just going to speak on that last incident with Amy Hamill, in the sense that I was thinking Monaghan need to be careful now to stay with 15 players in the field, because you know, if you consistent fouling is an option for a yellow card. But Amy Hamill was running in front of Ashley Maloney, and she just pushed her every way. Now I suppose Siobhan Coyle doesn't seem to be looking to speak to Ashley Maloney, but she has ticked her. You know, and that's, I suppose, as we said at the start, you know, Ashley Maloney's one of these players just watched, and she does get probably frustrated, and maybe that's a case of. But hands up to Amy Hamill. She's gotten the job to mind her, and she really, frankly, I don't know if she's followed her to the dressing room, but she really has really followed her all day and has done really well on her.
So Monaghan, Maeve Monaghan in possession, rolls away from the challenge there, dropped the ball and could be overturned here. The referee, she's lucky. I think she was just lucky. She's going back for an earlier infringement, so there's a free to Monaghan, and it's not for that challenge. Niamh Martin is confused, but I think it was for an earlier one, the time she rolled away from the challenge, that she was just got the little pull on the jersey. Anya Lockman lays it off here. Monaghan coming from deep here, and this the Latin girl that was in possession there, Shauna Coyle, now to Murren Atkinson. Atkinson coming driving forward, tries to go past Fennessy, plays it inside here as Monaghan try to come forward. And the long ball in from Chloe McBride, just too much on that one though, and that one's going to go out and wide of the target as she looked for Lauren Garland inside, and the wind just caught it.
Yeah, Monaghan just need to be a little bit more patient in those situations. You know, that was, you know, we have the win now, so they need to be a bit more, you know, watching them shots and not just hitting them aimlessly, because that will, you know, frustrate the team then too. You know, you're in possession and these balls are breaking down and going out wide or whatever, so they need to watch that kick a bit more. And try shots and goals from distance when they have the wind.
Emer Trainer from Donaghmoyne is into the Monaghan side, and the player coming off is the aforementioned Amy Hamill, who had a very good game and done very well on Ashley Maloney.
Yeah, I'd say that's tactical, Alan, because she's probably been ticked a few times there, and I'd say that's just tactical, because the one that Monaghan want to keep, as I said there, they want to lose a player to Sinbin this stage of the game.
Be interesting to see, is Emer Trainer, is she given the task now of Maloney?
Looks like
no,
Aoife Burns. Yeah.
So it's the other Donaghmoyne girl, Aoife Burns, that is over there. And Tipperary come forward, sides locked at 7 points apiece. 13 minutes gone in this second half. And it's the girls from Tipperary, their only away game in the National League this year. They've had their first 4 games at home, and the challenge comes in there, and it's a free in. The challenge from Shona Brady, and it's taken quickly, and Tipperary might get in here. Emma Morrissey turns, comes back off the upright, and waiting for it is Amy Garland, who seems to have just been about everywhere, I'd say, on the field. And Monaghan worked their way out of defence now with possession. Or it wasn't Amy Garland, because Amy Garland's in possession now. I think it might have been actually Sean
The
O'Coyle
7,
or
I
Emma
think it
Clarkin, was it?
Anya Lockman, I think it was.
Oh, was it?
actually, Alan.
That was
I
waiting
think
for
it.
it?
Yeah, I think
So
it was her.
Chloe McBride, now a bit of space here for Rosemary Courtney. Outside her is Maeve Monaghan. Monaghan in a bit of space here. Monaghan might open up for Leanne Garland. Runs to the corner. Back to Monaghan. Monaghan's going to have a go, but it goes across the front of the goals. And waiting there is the Tipperary girl. A missed opportunity goes a begging for Monaghan. Tipperary now trying to turn defence into attack very, very quickly. A bit of space now for Niamh Martin in possession. Martin tracked there by Chloe McBride. Martin gets away from McBride. Martin still going, lets it long, looking for Maloney. Maloney has a quick offload now from Maloney, but Keeley couldn't take it first time, but she gets it a second attempt, and Tipperary tried to create the chance. Maloney in possession again, gets down under the challenge, nudge on the back, free into Tipperary, and a chance for Maloney to pop over the lead score for Tipperary, and the referee maybe just ticking the number of the Monaghan girl that give away that free, but it's a chance here for Maloney. But Tipperary moved that ball very quickly indeed. Probably just a pass or two didn't go to hand, which give Monaghan the chance to get bodies back.
Yeah, and luckily so well, and exactly that, and their transition from defence to the forwards, you know, as you said, a missed opportunity this side of the field now is just almost within a minute or 90 seconds has gone straight up the field now, and it's a scoring opportunity for Aisling Maloney.
And a key girl in moving defence to attack is Niamh Martin.
Absolutely, Alan. We mentioned in the first half, and I mean, she has been that key player. She covers an ocean of ground, and you know, she's just, you know, as a midfielder, she's mad to push forward too, and you know, create that extra player and that overlap all the time.
So Maloney with the free, and she sails that one over the bar, landing on the top of the net. So Tipperary back in front again, but each time they've got their noses in front, Monaghan have got back in the lead again. Monaghan just led on one occasion, 2 points to 1, but there has been no more than a point between the sides at any occasion, as the Tipperary girl climbs high and wins possession there, and Tipperary coming forward yet again as they come pressing to try and drive home their authority, and that's a dangerous one in. The goalkeeper does very well indeed, does Alana Donoghue, and the defence again was there to help her out. Now Muireann Atkinson wins a free out for her side, but now Monaghan need to get bodies, and there's none there at the moment to try and move it quickly. Aoife Burns has got Muireann Atkinson if she needs her, but she gives it back to her goalkeeper as the goalkeeper lets it out past her, and it's out for a 45, and Monaghan inviting pressure on themselves, Niamh.
Yeah, and Alan, it's funny, just before that even happened, that's just unfortunate for Lana O'Donoghue. I'm just not a fan of kicking frees backwards. My God, I think it's so negative. We were free on our own 20-metre line, you give it back 20 yards to your keeper, and what she is to do and go long kick, I just don't understand it. And maybe I'm old school, but I just can't grasp it at all. I don't mind when there's a countdown clock and a minute left and you're a point up, that's fine, but Jeannie Mac, I'm not a fan of that at all now.
They just invited pressure on themselves when they had possession. They've handed it cheaply back to Tipperary, and Maloney looking to take it backwards here, but plays it low across here because she spotted the number 25, who has obviously come on the field as well as Elaine Kelly, and Kelly has been blue for overcarrying, and the ball has been thrown away by a Tipperary girl, but the referee is happy enough to let Monaghan take it from the same position. So Monaghan have got away with that mistake earlier and given away the 45.
Yeah, I suppose it's lucky that nothing more came
again,
up.
The ball goes, well, more across field this time. And Anya Lockman spreads it away over to the far side. I was going to say there was too much on it, but it's well kept over there by Shona Brady. Brady flicks it forward to Jodie McQuillan. McQuillan trying further down the line, but again, Tipperary cut that one out, and Tipperary just beginning to call the shots here, and as Niamh shouts, don't wait on it. The Monaghan girl done exactly that, and Tipperary were in with Emma Morrissey. Now to Maloney. Aisling Maloney shrugs off the challenge of the Monaghan girl, put under pressure, but Maloney holds possession, waits for the support, and it comes here. And Monaghan coming for, or Tipperary coming forward with Martin, and the referee says that's a free in. Niamh Martin is fouled and down and will need treatment. So a chance for Tipperary to extend the lead out to a 2-point game, something we haven't had of yet. Niamh, there's only been a point between them, but this coming down the home straight, 12 minutes to go, you just feel that Tipperary are beginning to get the upper hand.
Yeah, you can just see the little breaks are going their way at the moment, Alan, and you know, as you said, it's the opportunity now to go 2 up, which it hasn't happened, but it's been tit for tat, but you just always felt that at the moment, the break seemed to go in Tipperary's way, and if they can go that 2 ahead, they could push on. But I suppose the key thing is, Monaghan's got in, not necessarily goal chances, but they've got in round the square, and if a goal came, that could make a big, a big difference in this game.
So Maloney, 5 points to her name already, has a chance to put her side 2 in front, but she's disappointed with that one and has pulled it away wide of the target, and a missed chance for Tipperary, only their second wide.
Yeah, I was just
of
going
the
to say,
game.
it's hard to believe, like it really is only been. It's quite low scoring, Alan. It's not massive scoring. 15 scores. It's a lot of
that
very
kick out
little wides.
has been won by Tipperary again, and not coming forward, but Monaghan have turned that one over, but it's trying to turn defence into attack for Monaghan. And now there might be a chance for Jodie McQuillan, but she needs to get support. That's a beautiful ball from McQuillan. She's spotted the unmarked player out on the far side, and Monaghan now have the opportunity, but Tipperary, with the ball is broken kindly there for the Monaghan, and here they come now. Lauren Garland in possession. Garland has got the trickery up to try and take on the Tipperary defence. Back to McQuillan. McQuillan might have a go here. No, she doesn't. She elects to give it out here to Chloe McBride. McBride with the effort. The umpire looks at it, but this one's gone out to the wrong side and wide. So the chance goes a begging for Monaghan, but now it's important to try and put the press on and keep the ball down here.
Yeah, that's the thing now, and I mean that was probably Chloe McBride was right to take the shot there on. We have the win, as we keep saying, and that was the opportunity to go for it. Fortunately, the accuracy wasn't with it, but that's the thing, that when they're in them position, they need to take a shot.
But Tipperary just seem to be building momentum, and they're coming forward. A strong run over on the far side from the Tip girls, and here they come. A chance to try and get their noses further in front, and an opportunity to come forward, and the effort coming in there, I think it's taken a deflection, but the goalkeeper, but this time it's gone to a Tipperary girl. Chance here to win it for Tipperary, you would feel, and it has, from Clara English, was there to net the goal, and that could be the key score that will win and take the points back to Tipperary.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is it. I suppose that, as you said, I think the initial shot took a deflection. It sort of put Alana O'Donoghue in goal off. It hit the crossbar, came off her hands, and the Clara English was quickest to react, and she didn't hit it hastily. She put the keeper the wrong way and banged into net. So now we're back to the
overcarrying
again. We haven't had too many in the second half yet, Alan.
So now, is there a response in Monaghan? But you could feel that Tipperary in the last 5 minutes or so were just beginning to get the upper hand, and now they have taken control with that goal from Clara English. 4 points between the sides, and in what has been a very close, tight game, a goal for either side was always going to be a key score.
Yeah, and that was, I suppose we were waiting for the opportunity, which team would get it, and as we said, the momentum seemed to be with. And it came again from a shot, that went wide, and it just seems to be those situations that maybe Monaghan's not put enough pressure on the kick out, the primary possession from the kick out. And their transition, Tipperary's transition up to attack seems to be a little bit smoother.
So is there a response in Monaghan? Can they create a chance to create a goal? Jodie McQuillan, or not Jodie McQuillan, Shona Brady sidesteps the challenge. Coming forward now is Rosemary Courtney. Courtney under pressure though, ball breaks out. Shona Brady's there to pick up the loose ball. Murrin Atkinson was there as well. Atkinson taking on the Tipperary girl, rolls away from one challenge, rolls into another. Referee says to play on. Tipperary have possession back yet again as they work their way out of defence here. And Cleona O'Dwyer now over here to the goal scorer. Back in defence now is Clara English. And further on up here now to Elaine Kelly. Kelly is fouled down in front of us. As Tipperary will try and run down as much time as they can now with that 4-point advantage. There'll be a no mad rush. They'll hold possession. 8 minutes of normal time remain here. Creedon flicks it forward. And quick hands from Niamh Martin there to Fennessy. Fennessy runs at the Monaghan defence. Referee plays the advantage now with Clara English. English flicks it forward now to Morrissey. Emma Morrissey taking on the Monaghan defence. Morrissey jinks one way, jinks the other, and then is pushed to the ground. Free into Tipperary. And Tipperary are beginning to take control. The changes from Monaghan haven't worked, and it seems to be when the players run out of steam, the players coming off the bench just hadn't the same urgency.
Yeah, they're not coming in maybe with the high intensity that that seems to be it. I suppose Aisha Maloney's really coming into her own now, and she's been involved in orchestrating them last couple of scores. And
since Amy Hamill went off.
Yeah, and it's it just seems to be Amy had really done well on her, and as we just mentioned before that, and there's no score. When she really has, and just Monaghan's just last, and again they're giving away the frees in those scoring positions, Alan, as opposed to just score maybe been a bit cuter and found and a wee bit out the field and given Monaghan a chance to get back and maybe not in a scoring position.
So 1-9 to 7.
Kick-outs seem to have blown up as well, Alan, and there's another kick-out just gone straight up Tipperary.
Tipperary are driving it home now, and Niamh Martin lays off. Might be another goal chance here. Out now to Clara English, who wasn't in the best of positions. I felt the girl that had it was in a better position, but still have the chance. Emma Morrissey in possession. Todahan just slows it down, cool as you like, and referee stops play. Not sure why, but she has stopped play here. Oh, it's an injury to Marie Creedon is the reason why she stopped, and she's indeed going off is Marie Creedon, but Tipperary will have possession.
That's unusual. It's not a head injury, is it?
No.
Oh.
That's why I was surprised,
Unless
because I didn't see any player down, so I didn't know why she stopped.
It's not blood either. No, she's not. No, that's
Just
it's usually
hobbling.
they don't stop it unless it's a head injury in the middle of play. And I suppose Tipperary's in possession, and maybe that's what their thinking was. Maybe they get the player off for that reason.
So Maloney will try to energise the score here. I'm sure she'll be looking maybe to play a 1-2 with somebody here. I'm not sure what she's going to go way back.
My God.
Way back. Way back to the number 5 here, which was Sarah English. As Tipperary come driving forward now of Elaine Kelly. In now to Niamh Martin. Martin tried to take on the Monaghan defence, and Martin gets the arm pulled back. The referee plays the advantage, but none occurs. So a chance for Maloney yet again from the free to extend the Tipperary advantage, and it looks that Monaghan are making a change in the goalkeeping position. Orna Kelly is coming in for Alana Donoghue in the Monaghan goal. So Monaghan making a change in the net minding position as Tipperary look that they're going to make it 4 wins from 5 games, and unfortunately for Monaghan they're still deep in that relegation battle along with Roscommon and Tyrone, depending of course on how results go. Still in Monaghan's hands though, no matter what happens. It'll be a big game, Monaghan and Roscommon down the line. Monaghan, as Maloney taps over another free, but I suppose that's the one thing, Niamh, is still in Monaghan's hands to stay in division.
Yeah, it's still in their hands, exactly, Alan, and you know it's not going to be easy now when it comes into the last couple of games and the pressure's on you then to try and get wins. It's very hard to get wins then, but you know it's going to be very difficult.
Tipperary's next game is at home to Tyrone, and then they will have Armagh in the last game. So Tipperary very much still in the hunt for a place in the Division 2 National League final. And they look like they've bounced back from that defeat to Laois last week. They've had to work hard here against Monaghan, but they've taken control inside the last 10 minutes or so of this game as they come forward yet again. 6 points now between the sides, and they're being pushed away back. That goal from Clara English, the key score, and Tipperary holding possession, and Monaghan simply can't get their hands on the ball.
Yeah, and there's nothing as frustrating as that. You know, Tipperary now have that cushion, Alan, up to 4 points, of 5 points now, and that cushion, and I mean, you know, they just can hold on possession and play back and forward across their own half.
As they come driving forward yet again, Maloney in possession. So the referee plays the advantage, and Maloney has been called back, and she'll be wondering why, because she had broken the challenge, but the referee's whistle had sounded. But it is a chance for Maloney, who has got 7 points to her name, 3 in the first half and 4 in the second half. And this 127 in the league so far for Aisling Maloney. And she pops this one back off the upright and over the bar for another point. She had 10 points when the sides last met in the league in 2019. She's got 8 points this afternoon.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, again, you know, every team needs a good free taker, as you said. I mean, obviously she's way more than just a free taker, Alan, but I mean that's key thing too, like to be able to get the scores when they're needed. You know, and if you can create frees, you need to have someone that can pop them over, and I mean she can do that all day.
Monaghan working their way out of defence here. We'll try scoring difference, could be key down the line as well, with 3 teams in that relegation dogfight. Tyrone, Roscommon and Monaghan. Scoring difference may well come down to it as Monaghan try to create something, so every score in the league is vital You mightn't think it in some games, but they can be very vital, Niamh.
They can, yeah, definitely can, and it's important to try and keep it as little as possible, you know, and that's where, you know, it's obviously only one team relegated, Alan, so you know the scoring difference is going to come into account big time, and not to get an absolute hockey in here, like I don't mean that, but you know, you don't want to basically let Tipperary score anymore and try and get another score to deficit, reduce the deficit.
So Ciara Ward is in for Monaghan there, as Chloe McBride with this free drops this one in, but the umpire looks at it as it sails out and wide of the target. Another wide for Monaghan. Tipperary also making a change. 29 is coming in, which is Ava Hogan. So Ava Hogan is in to the Tipperary side, as we wait to see who is making their way off. And it could well be the goal scorer that is making a way over here. Is it 15? No, it's 13. Yes, the goal scorer, Clara English, and it's her goal that was key for Tipperary, because there was only a point between the sides when she found the net, and now suddenly they're 7 points clear. And that goal from English with 9 minutes remaining in the game was the score that has really killed the Monaghan challenge, because they haven't responded from it, and Tipperary have just drove on and are finishing very strongly indeed. Nessa Toy put under pressure and
very well done there by Anya Lockman, Alan. She just cut across there and did really well, dispossessed and won her free.
The battle of the two number 7s was won by the Monaghan girl. Monaghan through Garland, Amy it was, back now to Murren Atkinson. Finished strongly against Cavan. Is there a strong finish in Monaghan, but that's well read again by Tipperary. And back there is Emma Cronin. Cronin flicks it forward now to Fennessy. We're into additional time, whatever Siobhan Coyle is going to add on. I don't think there'll be much need for too much of it, because Tipperary are well on their way to a valuable 3 points. And in possession is a substitute now that just come on, Ava Hogan. Back out to Ashley Maloney, shows the ball and sidesteps the challenge, gets the effort away. It's a dangerous one, but the goalkeeper behind it is Kelly, knocked it down and got a possession herself to Shona Brady, to Anya Lockman. Lockman, quick hands now to the substitute to come on, which is Ciara Ward. The Monaghan, but slow from Monaghan compared to what Tipperary, moving it quick from defence. Even I suppose that's the big difference, is how quick Tipperary could move it from defence to attack. Monaghan much slower and lateral as well, Alan. It's not forward, it's kind of across the field and waiting. You know, I hear the Murphy here saying about breaking the lines, but I mean, you know, that's been an issue through the whole game. Like, I mean, it's not even coming out of defence. It's been when Monaghan's been up front that, you know, that hasn't been someone busting the gut to get up beside them and support the play. So that's been an issue through the whole game, and it's probably been an issue in the last couple of games, Alan, as well. And it's just, it's a yellow card for Niamh Martin. I was going to ask you if there were to pick a player of the match, who would it be? Because mine probably would have been the girl that has just been showing the yellow card, Niamh Martin. I thought she'd been superb.
Yeah, like we've mentioned her a couple of times, Alan. Yeah, she definitely has been really, really good. Square ball. Yeah, she has been. She's been that. You know, she's obviously scored a point from play as well. That was in the first half. But her runs, you know, her transition and her running up the field, and I mean the ground she covered as well in defensively and attack. And then obviously you can't go and not mention Ashley Maloney. You know, 8 points as we said. What did we have? 5, 4, 6 from frees. But you know, look at her. She's just been involved in that last turnover or last coming out of defence there for Tipperary as well. So she's been up and down the field and has been, and it's great to see her back to her best again.
I'm also going to mention Amy Garland. I thought was very good if you were to pick a Monaghan player.
Yeah, Amy covered a load of ground as well. You know, she's got up and scored that point too in the first half, and you know, she really tried to bring it to it, and I mean she gave good ball into the forwards as well. Obviously Lauren being you know, as I said earlier, the telepathy between them, she knew what kind of ball to give in to Lauren. But yeah, you know, Monaghan's going to be disappointed, and it's, you know, there was such a buzz after disappointment on the road to Laois, and then get that win over Tyrone, and now they've had 3 losses on the trot now, and it's tough to take that, and you can see a dejected team there, especially when they would have been really up for it coming out at half time, a draw match, and really been in the shake up. So and having the win in that second half, so really disappointing.
Yeah, indeed. Well, it's Tipperary that take the points. Their only game on the road. They had their first 4 at home. They won 3 of those. They've won on the road. They're back on home soil again next week against Tyrone. So Tipperary make it 4 wins from 5. They're still very much in the hunt for that final and promotion back to Division 1 where they want to be, while for Monaghan they're still looking over their shoulders, involved in that relegation battle. They can take a lot of positives though, Niamh. Unfortunately the goal was the killer score, but we could just see 5 minutes I suppose before the goal where Tipperary were beginning to get the upper hand though.
Yeah, I think Monaghan defensively have been very good, Alan, and all through. I thought defensively they work really well as a unit. You know, they've got the two midfielders and the two, like as I said, they get a lot of players back, but defensively as a unit they work very well. But it's just that transition. I think that's where the breakdown has been, and I think that's been the case in the last couple of games. I said even last week against Cavan, you know, the Monaghan finished strong, and it was the intensity that they pushed up. They got the 2 late goals against Cavan, unfortunately. Well, actually 1 late goal, but one that maybe was almost a goal that could have changed that result last week. So I suppose it's a bit more work on trying to get that, and that, you know, being more scorers as well. That's been an issue. I mean, look back at the league last year, the top scorer was Jody McQuillan, and was mostly from frees. So the player getting more scores from I suppose other players and from play is an issue, and it's something that needs to be worked on too.
Obviously we don't know results elsewhere, but how Roscommon got on against Cavan and how Tyrone have got on this afternoon as well. But Monaghan, they're probably looking at the game against Roscommon as being that key game, because that is the game that's probably going to decide who's going to go down and who's going to stay up. So that'll be the game they're looking at. But as I say, they can take positives from this. They've run Tipperary, I suppose, close for 50 minutes. It's only the last 10 minutes where the Tipperary have pulled away, but as you said, it's going to be turning that defence into attack and getting those key scores, because it's scoring power is where Monaghan are lacking.
That's exactly it, Alan, I think. And you know, it is, they'll take a lot of heart out of today's game, but it's hard to say that when you're on the losing side of it again, and it's hard to take positives out of it. But I think if the team and the management can take the positive that we're well in this game with Tipperary, a team that's, you know, on the upper side of the league, you know, and I suppose the Armagh result was maybe as expected. You know, it was disappointing that you know, I think Armagh ran away with it in the end. You know, obviously it was a big scoreline, but they ran away. Monaghan started well, and then it flittered through it. Where this was, we probably stayed in it for 45 minutes, and so we can take positives from that. But you know, it's going to be a real crunch game, as you said. That game in Roscommon, I think it's in Roscommon too, is it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
So you know, potentially, well, it mightn't be in the Hyde, but potentially somewhere.
No, it's Monaghan v Roscommon. That's actually 19th of March.
Oh, it's the Westmeath game that's away, actually. Sorry, I knew it was the game.
So there's no games next week. It's not until the 19th of March.
No. So we have a nice break now, and Monaghan can really work on.
So that's a big game.
It's a big game, yeah, it really is. And I mean, that's going to set it up. And I mean, the history of Monaghan football is when their backs against the wall, they can get results and get things out of it. So that's the hope that you know, when their backs against the wall, this result that they can pull it out of the bag. So hopefully so.
Well, that was the voice of Niamh Kinlan on our home patch here in Monaghan. Thank you very much for joining me, Niamh, on commentary. To Damien on camera, and to Kieran and all the team back at base, thank you very much from the Mac AV team, and myself, Alan Gunn. It's goodbye from Monaghan. They're excellent facilities here in Monaghan, and thank you to all involved for looking after us this afternoon here in Monaghan. It's victory for Tipperary. They've made it 4 wins from 5. It's their only game on the road, but they're taking 3 points back with them this afternoon to Tipperary, and they're very much still in the hunt for promotion from the Lidl Ladies National Football League Division 2, while for Monaghan is still very much in that relegation battle. Big game for them coming up on the 19th of March against Roscommon. Full-time score from Monaghan. It's finished in victory for Tipperary, 8 points from the boot of Ashley Maloney, but it's the goal from Clara English in the 21st minute of that second half that was the key score that finally killed off the Monaghan challenge. Final score, Tipperary 111, Monaghan 7 points.
We were told the game was over before we'd even started. We were told our bodies weren't made for it. It wasn't our time to play. We played anyway. And together we played like there was no tomorrow. And they told us that was fine. You can play. You're good enough. And thought that was good enough for us. It wasn't. We are relentless. The game isn't over until we say it's over. Until we get everything we've given everything for. Until we level the playing field.
Lidl, proud supporters of ladies Gaelic football.